Financial Survival Network, helping you survive and thrive in the new economy. Go to CarrieLutz.com and sign up for 30 free micro trainings on financial survival.
The show is brought to you by Miles Franklin. When it comes to protecting your wealth, you know there's nothing better than gold and silver. And when I want gold and silver, I go to Miles Franklin because they've been around 22 years, and when you buy, they ship. For more information, go to milesfranklin.com or call them at 800-822-8080 and get a free quote. 1490 WGCH, this is Carrie Lutz, and you're listening to the Financial Survival Network.
You worried about silver confiscation? Do you think the government's going to come in the middle of the night and pull out the remaining amalgam fillings in your teeth and take your silver and your sterling, your flatware? Is that what you're worried about? Well, you need to see Chris Duane's new video on the debunking of silver confiscation, because it's just not going to happen. Chris, how are you?
Good, Carrie. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I felt much better about my silver after I watched your video. I have to tell you that.
Yeah, I wanted to do a video on the confiscation because it's really the one. I've done, 18 videos in the Silver Bullet and the Silver Shield on YouTube, and it's the one issue that keeps coming up. So what I did was I wanted to put a video series together, Silver Bullet and the Silver Shield, and I've done about, 17 or 18 videos talking about all the reasons why people should be buying it. And the one reason why people say that they don't want to buy is because they fear confiscation. So I really decided to rip that issue apart by going over. So when I did the silver confiscation video, I went into the the genesis of it, which was the 1933-1934 Roosevelt confiscation of gold. And when you look at the issue of the gold confiscation back then, you see that the gold really wasn't confiscated as much as it was paid paper dollars, and the people were made whole for their gold. The real crime, I feel, happened in the revaluation later on when they revalued gold from $20.67 to $35. And that's where the problem was. The government knows that the gold is the real money. They got everybody to go along with it. And back then, you have to realize people in the 30s and 40s really thought that they were helping the government and the banks that they trusted to do the right thing for the country. So they all acted together and went down to the local Federal Reserve branch, handed over their gold and got paid their paper. So the story is totally different this time around. After decades of financial and economic and political abuse by our politicians and bankers, no one would trust the government to turn in their gold. And there was only one person I saw. It was some guy. He was prosecuted under this thing, but it wasn't like there was mass raids or some government agency snooping around every corner to find people who didn't comply. And I know for a fact there's a lot of people who didn't comply with this that, kept their gold on the side. So then I went through the whole reason why, knowing what we know now, I saw that if somebody had 5 1-ounce gold double eagles, they were $20 a piece at the time. If somebody did not turn in those 5 gold coins and get the $100 paper Federal Reserve notes and held on to that gold until today and passed it down generations, that those 5 coins would be worth $8,500. And yet, if they did trade in that paper and had the $100 from 1933, that would have the exact same purchasing power as $6 back in 1933 now. So there's a huge disparity that anytime anybody tries to save in anything else other than real tangible assets like gold and silver, they're going to get fleeced. So that's kind of like the big reason why I tell people, even in the Roosevelt's time, not everybody listened to them. Now we are smarter, wiser, and know much better. And then I said, okay, well, if the government says, hey, yeah, it is illegal and you do have to turn it in, what are they most likely going to go after? And I listed 3 major sources of metal that would be infinitely easier for the government to grab a grand majority of the investable metal out there without any problem to themselves. And the first thing I mentioned was the domestic mining production. We already saw in this National Preparedness Executive Order that Obama signed on St. Patrick's Day, it specifically states that all mining and strategic metals and strategic commodities would fall under the jurisdiction of the government, that they could take it. And then I said, well, what would they do after that? Well, gee, you got GLD and SLV with these huge stockpiles. They could grab that, have federal agents go right in there and it'd be done. Even the Comex, they have all the millions of ounces of silver sitting there. They could just take that. And then I said, all right, even if they got that ridiculous, they'd probably go after major bullion traders. So, you'd see like Apmex and, some of these other guys out there, maybe they go after them. But the idea that a government could try to pull off, SWAT team raids on local businessmen or local people having, a couple Mercury dimes, to me is insane. Because if you really want to cause a revolution, try taking people's guns away, try taking people's metals away, try taking people's food away, try taking people's kids away. And at some point, folks, we're going to have to draw a line. If the government starts becoming that criminal where they're going to go start conducting door-to-door raids, it's on.
Oh, yeah. And that they're going to have the ammo to do it. And because we did some further research, and it's closer to about all the governmental departments with the 40 caliber ammo are their order totaled 750 million rounds, and 15 or 20,000 cleaning kits was among that order. I don't know what they think they're getting ready for, other than I'm thinking that ammunition is going to be the new money supply, and
could be.
Basically the caliber of the round will determine its value. And what do they need hollow points for? If you're going to do target practice, you're not doing target practice with hollow points. You're using full metal jackets. So the whole thing is suspect.
Well,
weird.
I haven't looked into the issue. I mean, I know that they had it. Who do they buy it from? And it'd be interesting to see who sits on that board, because it might just be a big fat payoff contract. $400 toilet seats that the military used to do. Maybe it's just a big payoff to bail out. Isn't Cerebus investment group? Didn't they buy a bunch of gun companies and stuff? It'd be interesting for you to look into that.
Yeah, here it is. It's ATK. They're the ones who are providing it. They're very proud of the contract.
What's it valued at? I know 40 caliber rounds are not cheap.
Yeah, well, when you buy 450 million of them,
you might get a discount.
Cost goes down a little bit. There's no mention of price in any of these press releases. Yeah. And it just says ATK is an aerospace defense and communication products company with operations in 22 states, Puerto Rico, and internationally. And
interesting that they don't say that they're an ammo manufacturer.
Check them out at atk.com.
And Kerry, we mentioned before the idea that even if they have that, at some point there's a huge mental chasm to cross of having, us having silver and them having bullets. At some point, who's going to pull the trigger? Because that's the other point I made. Prior to a dollar collapse, I don't know if any police officer would mentally justify risking his life doing SWAT raids into a person's house to go get silver. The police officers, can fall for the fake war on drugs, and they say that they're taking drugs off the streets and they're helping kids, even though that's a complete sham.
Oh, yeah. I've seen how well that's worked.
How do you justify that to the guys on the ground who would have to go to do this, saying, your grandmother's coins are national security threat, and we have to go kill or steal from our neighbors to do that? Who does that? And that's what I keep saying. Propaganda is not for the people. It's for the people, working inside the system. They need the mental justification on what they do. And I just can't see how they're going to make this huge leap and make us out to be the new Al-Qaeda because we're stacking coins.
It's crazy. Hey, I'm just looking at ATK's website, because I should have done that before, because we try to deconstruct these stories, and it says they produced more than 10 billion rounds of 5.56 millimeter, 7.62, 50 caliber, 20 millimeter ammunition, and reduced costs to a cumulative savings of $1 billion. And they're partnering with the Army to successfully implement facilities and blah, blah, blah.
And the other stupid thing is, Kerry, 40 caliber ammo is like handgun ammo. I don't know any rifles or anything that really use that.
No.
And to think somebody's going to blow through that much handgun ammo is insane. You know, if it was 5.56, I'd be like, all right, it's a war contract. But you know, where's the gun contracts? Like, where's the $200,000 or 200,000 order for handguns?
Forget it. Yeah, it's, you know, maybe they just gave them the contract because they were going to shut down if they didn't. It's a big defense contractor, ATK.
Yeah.
I'm sure we could Wikipedia it and find that there's a lot of former generals and politicos pulling the strings at this place. And
or JP Morgan's behind it.
It could be a combination of all of them. But how much did we pay for these things? That's what I want to know. We're not going to know it because there's no transparency. And that's the way it is. But in summation, don't worry about your silver. Just keep it safe from criminals.
This is a video I'm going to cover later. You know, what do you do? I'm a big proponent of don't keep it in your home and don't keep it in a bank. So that the guy that did get this carry had 10,000 ounces of gold. And it got confiscated in 1936. I forget the guy's name.
He was the poster child.
Well, this is 2 years after the law was signed, and he had two major strikes against him, which is a reason why people need to listen. He kept it in a bank, so he had no way of getting it out of there because anytime you go into the safe deposit box, I'm sure during that time that they had to have
monitored. They were monitored.
Monitor there. And two, they were tipped off. So somewhere along the line, loose lips sink ships. And if you don't hold it, you don't own it. So that's the two, cardinal rules of keeping your metal safe.
Well, that's going to be the subject of one of our micro trainings is where to store your metals. And we got some good ideas there.
Yep.
So just have to be safe and you have to be smart about it. Don't rub it in anybody's face. And when the time is right, then you'll use it. You'll have it, and that's where your wealth will be.
And that's a big thing because as Americans, we're always like, oh, we watch all these rich people on TV. This era that's coming, anybody having wealth, it could cost you your life. This isn't going to be, you're going to be on the cover of Us magazine telling your story, and Good Morning America is going to have you there and saying, oh, you were so smart, and having these Donald Trump puff interviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's literally going to be a life or death situation, and you need to take this seriously. Divide up your stash, think like a pirate. I tell people to do. Just you can keep some in your house, a couple coins if you're going to do constitutional silver and stuff like that. But the majority of your wealth should be out of your house, divided in as many stashes as you can. So if one of them is found, you're not out everything. I like the old shovel.
Yep, absolutely. A little midnight gardening. On that note, Chris, we'll talk to you next week, and don't-tread-on.me and financialsurvivalnetwork.com. You be well.
All right, take care.
Take it easy.